Hey, welcome back to Greasy Boy Customs. Just wanted to do a quick video today on something that some people seem a little timid about, and I don't think you should be, and that's building your own spark plug wires. So for today's project, we're going to be using the Street Fire wires that I purchased from O'Reilly Auto Parts, part number 5553. This set runs somewhere between $60 and $70 for the set. The wires come like this. You can see one end already has boots installed on it, 90-degree boots. Now in this application, we are using 90-degree boots on the engine and on the distributor cap. So let's talk about our victim today. So today's victim is a 1966 Mustang. This car has been outfitted with a late model 302 from a Fox body Mustang, a 92 or 93 if I'm not mistaken. So we are having to go with 90-degree boots at the spark plugs and at the distributor cap. Speaking of distributor cap, you'll notice this is not your typical Ford distributor. This is a GM HEI style distributor. This is a common product that's now available in the aftermarket for just about any engine. I have one on my 51 Ford with a Windsor in it. I've seen them for just about every Ford and Mopar engine out there, it seems like. The only downside, they are a little bulky, but most of the time it'll work just fine. So before we get started, we're going to make sure our engine is on top dead center and our distributor is where it needs to be before we start routing our wires. Now that we have our wires loomed, we're going to start with number one here. This being a Ford, counterclockwise rotation. Make sure you know your firing order and also your cylinders. On this engine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Completely different from a Chevrolet. Don't get them confused. Now you can do one wire at a time and go ahead and make your cut, or you can do all of them, or you can mark it with a pen or some tape. I like to go a little bit past the post, maybe like a ½ inch or so, give myself a little bit of wiggle room in case I mess up. And that one's taken care of. Now we'll continue and go all the way around, and we'll cut our wires and crimp them. Well, and as you can see here, we run one zip tie around all of them, and then we put the 3 in between to separate them. Again, this is not a permanent setup for us. This is just temporary while we're running the wires. We'll do another one kind of up here somewhere, and then we'll go back and actually put nice loom holders in place. Like I said, if you have the loom holders, go ahead and install them, run them that way. So if we do this right, it's going to turn out like this. You can see we already trimmed our wires a little bit past the mark that we made. Next thing you're going to do is take a razor blade, and you want to come back about a ½ inch or so. It can be a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be perfectly precise. Basically, you're going to cut down to the center core. You don't want to cut through it. You just want to cut down to it and just peel the outer sheeting off. Usually I find you twist it a little bit, it comes right off. And then that part is going to be folded over. So you take your end, you want to fold it over and lay the spiral core in the bottom of the pocket. Again, in the bottom. And then we're going to crimp this. Now you can try to do this with pliers, but luckily this kit comes with a setup you can put in a vise. I'll show you how that works. One thing I forgot to mention, this is actually part of the crimping tool. It has a provision to set your length. You slide your wire through and you cut right here. So now we'll slide an end in that's already cut. You can see when that's flush right there, that's flush there, that's how long you should cut it. So you're going to take your end and stick it in there. You can see it has this W shape, and that's actually going to roll the edges and crimp it. You want to make sure you have it facing the right direction as far as where you want that to be. You're going to feed your wire in there. Make sure it's secure. It's coming through a little bit. And then you're going to take the corresponding part, slide them together. And then you just simply put them in your vise and crimp them down. Pop it out. There you go. Nice looking crimp. Now we got to slide our boot on. Put a little dab of lube on there. Kind of smear it on the end. Dielectric grease is a great option. And then you're just going to feed it in. Kind of hard to show up on video, but you can see inside we've seated it all the way. Now we're just going to repeat this for all the wires. And there you go. Our wires are run. Nice and organized, not a bunch of extra slack. Now we'll go back through and actually make some brackets to hold them down a little bit nicer and neater out of the way. But for now, That's fine. Ready to go. This was not a crazy technical job. This is something that you can do in your home shop with basic tools. Now, there are some tools that make it better. There are wire strippers specifically designed to strip these spark plug wires, as well as handheld crimpers to crimp the connectors. It's your personal preference if you'd like to spend the extra money on those items. If you have any questions about what we did today, feel free to drop a comment below or message me at greasyboycustoms@gmail.com. Until next time, happy hot rodding.